Chapter 1. Rebirth. Sell the house first. Lin Mo suddenly jolted awake from in front of his computer, cold sweat soaking through his shirt. This wasn't a nightmare. In his nose, he could still faintly feel that extreme pain from when he was hunted by that force, the sensation of his flesh and even time itself being stripped away. He looked around. It was his own clean apartment, filled with books and research equipment. On the computer screen, the date was clearly displayed. End of the world, 10 days remaining. Almost instinctively, his mind began to operate like a high-performance machine. Verification. 1. Memory authenticity. 2. Whether that ability exists. He grabbed an apple from the desk and focused his will. A semi-transparent line of text appeared before his eyes. Item: apple. Remaining edible time: 71 hours 32 minutes 15 seconds. Normal decay time. Time loan available. Minimum unit 1 hour. Daily interest 50% compound. It worked, not an illusion. He really had been reborn from 10 years in the future, bringing back memories of the time debt apocalypse and the ability to see the time properties of everything. The shock lasted only a fraction of a second before being suppressed by absolute rationality. In 10 days, microorganisms would begin to massively accelerate decay. All food, medicine, even precision instruments would become useless within hours or days. The monetary system would collapse instantly. The only true currency would be time. Either survive decay on your own, or borrow from the time bank, but the interest would turn anyone into bones. Goal: within 10 days, stockpile high-value durable goods and exchange them for initial time credits. Obstacle: he was a broke student. No money, no time. Action: Lin Mo picked up his phone. I'm selling my apartment. Cash deal. 15% below market price. Must be paid within 3 days. Then he immediately began liquidating everything in the house. Game consoles, limited edition figures, rare academic books. Anything that would become worthless in 10 days was listed online at extremely low prices. A knock came at the door. His neighbor Zhang Hao, a rich second-generation brat, stood outside with a few friends smirking. Well, Lin Mo, going broke already and selling junk? He leaned on the doorframe. That old game console? $50? I'll take it so you can at least eat. If it were before, Lin Mo would have ignored him. But today he looked calmly at Zhang Hao's expensive mechanical watch. Item: mechanical watch. Remaining precise time: 3 years 211 days. Internal lubricant will dry out. Time loan: can borrow 3 years. Requires 4 years interest repayment. Lin Mo spoke. Your father's capital chain broke last month. He barely managed to borrow money to redeem this watch from the pawn shop, right? Zhang Hao's smile froze. You're broke and drowning in debt. This watch will break within 3 days, and you can't afford to repair it. Bullshit. Lin Mo showed his phone. The transfer from the real estate agent had arrived. I have more cash than you now. Then he looked at the watch. That thing that's about to break. $80. Sell it to me. Fuck you. Zhang Hao smashed the watch on the ground. I'd rather destroy it than sell it to you. He stormed off in rage with his friends. Lin Mo closed the door calmly. Emotional fluctuation was a waste of energy. He returned to his computer. Funds were secured. Next step: buy undervalued hard assets that could survive the apocalypse and store time value. Then his phone lit up. No number. One message appeared. Looks like the reshuffling isn't only about time, but also players. Your hoarding speed is a bit slow. Lin Mo's pupils shrank sharply. For the first time, his fingers froze above the keyboard. Chapter 2. The time debt collector comes for your life. Burning time with liquor to counterattack. His cheat ability actually evolves. Staring at the strange text message on his phone screen, Lin Mo felt his heart clench like it was gripped by an ice-cold clamp. The sender wasn't some idiot like Zhang Hao. It was someone who knew the truth of the apocalypse and had precisely identified him as an observer. That suffocating feeling of being completely seen through was even more terrifying than the corpse monsters in the apocalypse. But in just 1 second, Lin Mo suppressed the rising emotions. His new objective was clear: trace the source of the message to understand the other party's intent, while absolutely not stopping his core plan of stockpiling resources. He needed information and time capital to survive the crisis. But the moment his fingers moved across the keyboard, the screen suddenly dimmed halfway. An invisible, bone-chilling pressure instantly enveloped the entire room. The wall clock's hands spun wildly out of control. The bread on the desk visibly grew mold, and in the next second turned into dust. Warning: high-intensity time field disturbance detected. Warning: time debt collector has prematurely descended. Warning: your body lifespan remaining 5 minutes and 3 seconds. Without borrowing time, cellular aging will cause death. A fatal crisis hit instantly. Lin Mo's pupils contracted sharply, but his time vision was scanning the room at full speed. The box of 95% liquor in the corner suddenly lit up. Item: liquor composition 95% ethanol. Remaining stable time 50 years. Time loan available. Borrow 1 second, repay 2 seconds. A crazy plan formed instantly. He rushed over, opened the bottles, and poured the alcohol around doors and windows as a barrier. Then he smashed another bottle on the ground. High concentration alcohol vapor instantly filled the room. Holding a lighter, Lin Mo looked at the invisible pressure in the air and sneered. You want time? Does the energy from burning ethanol count as time? Come and collect the debt. Let's see whether you drain me first, or I burn this time and send it back to you. The flame ignited. The terrifying pressure suddenly paused. As if shocked by this reckless action, the time field violently fluctuated, then receded like a tide. The room returned to normal. Only the smell of alcohol and rotten bread ash proved what had just happened was real. Warning cleared. Current body status: 71 years of natural lifespan remaining. Lin Mo released his grip, and the lighter fell to the ground. His palms were covered in cold sweat. He had gambled correctly. The time debt collector either couldn't process this kind of time energy or refused to touch the resulting chaos. But something even greater happened. During the confrontation, his time vision absorbed residual energy and evolved. Now, when looking at the liquor, a new line appeared: convertible into time coupons value, 5.3 standard hours. Requires specific ritual or equipment. Lin Mo's pupils contracted. He had found it. A way to manufacture time coupons. At that moment, a knock came at the door. Standing outside was his neighbor, Su Rui. She was holding a small, potted plant. Seeing the alcohol and shattered glass inside, she showed no curiosity, only concern. Lin Mo, are you okay? I suddenly felt uneasy, like something bad passed by. She handed him the plant. Keep this with you. It might make you feel better. Lin Mo's time vision immediately scanned it. The plant was glowing faintly. Remaining survival time, +1 hour. His pupils shrank sharply. She could sense the time debt collector? And her plant could resist time decay? Lin Mo looked at the quiet girl in front of him. For the first time, he realized his perfect stockpiling plan had just been joined by a variable that could not be explained by logic. Chapter 3. Death Countdown Under the Time Vision. A mysterious drone arrives with a gift. Lin Mo stared at the potted plant in Su Rui's hands at the doorway, which was faintly glowing with the line, remaining survival time, +1 hour. His heart sank sharply. This girl not only could sense the time debt collector, but also carried something that could resist time decay. She was an unexpected variable that had forcibly entered his perfect plan. Before he could ask anything, chaotic footsteps suddenly came from the stairwell, mixed with Zhang Hao's furious roar. Lin Mo, get the hell out here! You think you can screw me over? If I don't beat the shit out of you today, my name isn't Zhang Hao. The door was kicked with a loud bang. Zhang Hao stood behind 3 burly men holding steel pipes, looking arrogant. But in Lin Mo's upgraded time vision, there was no ferocity, only terrifying countdowns above their heads. Individual, Thug A, natural lifespan, 41 years. Remaining survival time, 1 minute 17 seconds. Time debt disturbance active. Individual, Thug B. Remaining survival time, 2 minutes 3 seconds. Individual, Thug C. Remaining survival time, 2 minutes 41 seconds. Individual, Zhang Hao. Remaining survival time, 1 minute 52 seconds. Lin Mo did not retreat. Instead, he opened the door with a click and spoke coldly. You 3, 1 minute 17 seconds, 2 minutes 3 seconds, and 2 minutes 41 seconds. You will all die. Now, if you touch me, you will immediately age and die from an accident. Or take Zhang Hao's money and go to the hospital right now to check your liver and heart. You might still survive. The moment he finished speaking, Thug A suddenly clutched his chest. His face turned deathly pale, cold sweat soaking his clothes instantly. His pre-existing heart condition was now violently flaring up. The 3 men exchanged looks. They immediately dropped their steel pipes and fled down the stairs in panic, terrified of losing their lives 1 second too late. Zhang Hao instantly lost his backing. Seeing Lin Mo's eyes that seemed to see through life and death itself, his legs went weak and he almost fell to his knees. He scrambled away in a panic. 2 complete humiliations. This time, it was both physical threat and psychological collapse, not even daring to look back. The chaos ended. Only Su Rui remained at the door, holding the plant, her mouth open in shock. Lin Mo withdrew his gaze and stared at the plant. Where did this come from? Su Rui slowly came back to her senses, her voice still trembling. I grew it myself. I can feel whether plants are happy or not. Just now, you looked like them when they're thirsty, so I brought it over. You grew it yourself? And you can sense plant emotions, and even the pressure of the time debt collector? Lin Mo's mind raced rapidly. This girl's ability was likely related to life energy or entropy reduction, exactly the opposite of time decay. He stayed silent for 2 seconds, then stepped aside. Come in and talk. This was the first time he had ever allowed an outsider into his domain. This variable had to be fully analyzed. But just as Su Rui was about to step inside, a low buzzing sound came from outside the window. A large black modified drone hovered like a ghost. A metal box with a blinking red light was hanging beneath it. A cold synthetic voice came through a speaker. Observer Lin Mo, your answer sheet is quite impressive. This is a meeting gift from a player. A portable time coupon conversion device. We look forward to you not disappointing us in the game. Oh, and a friendly reminder, the advanced team of the Order Reconstruction Societies has already locked onto the time ripple you just created. Good luck. The metal box slammed onto the balcony. The drone immediately ascended and vanished into the night. Lin Mo and Su Rui both looked up at the same time, their expressions changing. Just after dealing with Zhang Hao, just after acquiring a potential ally, now a mysterious player had delivered a dangerous gift, and a far more terrifying force, the Order Reconstruction Society, had already begun hunting him. A greater storm was already waiting outside the door. Chapter 4. 7-floor zipline escape. The Order of Order Restoration lays siege, and the time device is stolen goods? Lin Mo grabs the metal box dropped by the drone. The cold, heavy feeling seeps straight into his palms. The box is smooth with no seams, only a red indicator light blinking slowly. He immediately activates his time vision to scan it. Item, unknown device. Composition, high-purity titanium alloy, rhodium metal, unknown energy core. Remaining stable time, infinity, protected by a special force field. Convertible into time vouchers valuation. Error, cannot valuate. Infinity, even the valuation fails? Lin Mo's pupils contract sharply. The technology level of this thing is far beyond what he knows after being reborn. The hidden organization called Card Player runs much deeper than he imagined. There is no time to think further. His goal is clear. Take Su Rui and this mysterious device, immediately evacuate their exposed apartment, and head to the safe house secretly rented with the house sale money. On the way, he can figure out the tricks of this time voucher converter. But just as he shoves the metal box and the time decay-resistant plant into his backpack, a sharp screech of brakes sounds from downstairs. Lin Mo pulls back the curtain corner. 3 black off-road vehicles block the building entrance. 7 or 8 people, in matching gray uniforms, jump out, moving as sharply as drawn blades. The emblem on their arms, a scale crushing a gear, stands out sharply. They are from the Order of Order Restoration. The cold-faced woman in charge speaks into her wristwatch. Target on the 7th floor. Energy disturbance residue confirmed. Move out. If necessary, use forced containment. The stairs are blocked. Lin Mo's heart tightens. He grabs the still-dazed Su Rui, his voice urgent and commanding. Hold on tight if you want to live. He is prepared. He turns and runs to the study, shoves the bookcase against the wall, revealing a tight emergency zipline. This is the escape route he set up right after being reborn. Hold me tight. Lin Mo quickly clips the zipline carabiner around both their waists. Without hesitation, he pulls Su Rui and leaps from the 7th floor window. Cold wind rushes into his throat. Su Rui's cry is instantly blown away. When the Order members kick down the door, they only see the swaying bookcase, the open window, and 2 figures landing downstairs. But before the 2 can steady themselves, the cold-faced woman and 2 of her team rush out of the stairwell, moving shockingly fast. Citizen, stop resisting immediately and accept investigation by the Order of Order Restoration. The woman shouts, holding a rod-shaped weapon crackling with blue-white arcs, clearly a device that accelerates time decay. Can't outrun them. Lin Mo's eyes turn cold. His time vision instantly locks onto the 3. Individual, Order of Order Restoration Captain. Natural lifespan, 62 years. Survivable time, 4 minutes and 11 seconds. With minor time disturbance. Individual, Team Member A. Natural lifespan, 58 years. Survivable time, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Carrying a time decay weapon. Individual, Team Member B. Natural lifespan, 60 years. Survivable time, 5 minutes and 20 seconds. He suddenly stops, shielding Surui behind him, and calls out clearly to the three. Captain Emily, that old injury from the Sector 7 mission 3 years ago. On rainy days, your left knee still hurts so much you can't sleep, right? Your medical report says minor wear, but your actual cartilage wear is already at 47%. Emily's steps halt sharply. Her face shows genuine shock for the first time. This is her deepest secret, one she has never told anyone. Lin Mo gives her no time to react. He looks at the member holding the weapon. Danny, you used the organization's time stabilizer to suppress your daughter's genetic condition. You thought no one would know, but the medicine is already losing its effect. The next time she has an episode, the current dose won't even be a drop in the bucket. Danny's face turns paper white. His hand holding the weapon begins to tremble, panic filling his eyes. Finally, Lin Mo looks at the third person. James, you used a time loan to support another family. You are about to miss the interest payments, are not you? If your wife finds out about this, 3 sentences, like 3 precise ice picks, pierce through their psychological defenses. They stand frozen, horror written on their faces. How does this man know their darkest secrets? Lin Mo takes the chance to pull the stunned Surui and quickly retreat to a second-hand off-road vehicle by the roadside. As he opens the door, Surui whispers, "How do you know all that?" Calculated, Lin Mo replies briefly, his eyes still scanning the surroundings warily. After my time vision upgraded, I can see major events related to their lives in the time flow. Combined with my memories from being reborn, it is not hard to piece together. This is the first time he has used this ability for psychological warfare, and the effect exceeds expectations. But just as he starts the engine, a loud crash explodes. A huge metal barricade drops from the sky, slamming heavily in front of the vehicle, blocking the way completely. Then, from the shadows of surrounding buildings, over a dozen gray figures silently emerge, instantly surrounding the off-road vehicle. A gentle-looking man in gold-rimmed glasses walks out, applauding. His smile is warm, but his eyes are cold as ice. An impressive information gap attack. No wonder they value you so highly. He pauses, his gaze falling on the metal box in the passenger seat, and his tone turns icy. But Mr. Lin Mo, did you calculate that we sent 2 teams? And where exactly are you planning to take our stolen property? Lin Mo's heart sinks to the bottom. The Order of Order Restoration's target is also this time voucher converter. The gift from the card player organization is not a welcome present, but a hot piece of stolen goods that could burn him to death. The real deadlock has only just begun. Chapter 5. Genetic lock broken in seconds. Converter drains energy for a counterkill. The hunting mode activation is a trap. The sharp screech of tires tearing through the air. Lin Mo jerks the steering wheel hard. The off-road vehicle narrowly avoids the metal barricade crashing down in front. As the car skids sideways, over a dozen gray figures have already formed an inescapable net. The Order's second team had set up the trap long ago. Dr. Feng Zhen, in his gold-rimmed glasses, steps forward slowly, knocking on the window with an insincerely warm smile. Mr. Lin Mo, do not be nervous. We are just here to recover the organization's stolen property, and to ask you how you calculated those little secrets about my team members. His gaze, like a viper, fixes on the metal box in the passenger seat. Lin Mo's eyes flash with cold resolve. He cannot be captured. He must break out immediately. He has to keep the converter and shake off these mad dogs. But outside the car, over a dozen weapons glowing with energy are aimed at the vehicle. His time vision screams warnings. The force fields of those weapons can rapidly drain a target's survivable time. Rushing out means certain death. In the passenger seat, Surui's face is pale. She clutches the plant, its soft glow brightening slightly as it barely withstands the surrounding time pressure. Little secrets? Lin Mo does not roll down the window. His voice cuts through the glass like ice. Dr. Feng Zhen, what about your little secret? Using organization resources for time gene-human experiments. 17 failures, left 16 withered corpses. The 18th test subject is still rotting in your private safe. Would you call that a small secret? Feng Zhen's smile freezes instantly, then shatters completely, leaving only terror and barely hidden fear in his eyes. This is his hellish secret. one that no one could possibly know. You, he chokes out, stepping back half a step, his composure shattered. Now, Linmo whispers to Surui, think, open it. He shoves the metal box into her hands. Surui is startled. Her survival instinct makes her hug the box and focus her thoughts. The next second, a miracle explodes. A soft click. The seamless metal box opens automatically. Inside, precision gears and energy conduits form a glowing core. A blue light sweeps across the scene. Portable time voucher converter activated. Large amounts of chaotic time energy detected. Weapon force fields and hostile intent. Conversion conditions met. Converting. Obtained plus 17.4 standard hours in time vouchers. The weapons in the Order members' hands instantly dim, as if drained of their souls, including Feng Zhen. Everyone feels weak, as if they have lost several hours of life force. Their faces are deathly pale. Impossible. That requires a genetic lock, Feng Zhen stammers, stunned. In that split second of shock, hang on. Lin Mo roars and floors the gas pedal. The engine growls like a beast. The off-road vehicle charges toward the gap in the encirclement created by Feng Zhen's loss of composure. One member dodges too slowly and is knocked down by the side mirror, screaming. Two others stagger back from the impact. Stop him! Feng Zhen screams frantically, but the off-road vehicle has already broken through the circle and vanished into traffic. Inside the car, the fear of their narrow escape still lingers. Su Rui holds the now closed box, her voice trembling but excited. It opened because of me. I felt like it was very hungry. The hostility outside became its food. Lin Mo checks the rearview mirror. No pursuers. His eyes are sharp. The card player's gift was specifically prepared for you. He can see time, and her life energy is the key to activate it. Their complementarity is far greater than he expected. But before he can think further, the converter projects holographic text, identical to the mysterious messages before. Cooperation successful. Preliminary test passed. Unlocking underlying protocol. Hunting mode. Map activated. Marking city time decay anomaly points. The corrupted and time rust ore. Go hunt. Collect time or be consumed. P.S. Feng Zhen has a high bounty. The Order's hunting squad is now fully activated. A holographic map unfolds. Dense red dots sting the eyes. One of the brightest red dots is rushing straight toward them at incredible speed. Lin Mo's heart sinks. The card player's gift is not a tool. It is a shackle dragging them into a survival game. The real hunt has only just begun. Chapter 6. Overdraw conversion for a counterkill? The hunter drone explodes in a fireball, and the reputation store hides a deadly trap? The brightest red dot on the holographic map approaches at terrifying speed, like the pupil of death. Lin Mo can even vaguely feel a cold, scanning awareness sweep across the off-road vehicle through his time vision. He must break the lock immediately and escape the hunting squad's first strike. But there is nowhere to hide. The enemy's speed far exceeds this old vehicle's limit. Through the window, he can already see a fast-moving black dot in the sky behind them. It is a sharp, aggressive-looking black aircraft. Warning: Hunter-class pursuit aircraft locked on. Time lock force field detected. The survivable time of all objects within range will rapidly decay. Su Rui, the converter. Lin Mo roars and yanks the steering wheel. The vehicle drifts into a narrow alley filled with abandoned cars, trying to buy a few fractions of a second using the complex terrain. Su Rui immediately activates the converter. A blue beam scans out. High-intensity directed time decay force field detected. Conversion conditions met. Beginning conversion. Obtained plus 3.1 standard hours in time vouchers. The aircraft's time lock force field only stalls slightly. The drained energy is like a drop in the bucket. The aircraft keeps pursuing, and a launcher, with an ominous red glow, extends from its underside. No use. It is too fast, and the energy is too strong. Su Rui shouts urgently. Lin Mo's eyes turn fierce. He spots an abandoned gas station by the road. A crazy idea takes shape instantly. Point it out the window. Maximum power. Focus on absorbing and overdrawing. Su Rui follows his instructions. She aims the converter at the pursuing aircraft. This time, the device emits not a soft blue light, but a distorted, almost black vortex beam. Warning: high-risk overdraw mode activated. Target locked. Hunter-class pursuit aircraft energy core, powered by high-purity time rust ore. Forced conversion of target's remaining stable time, obtained plus 41.5 standard hours in time vouchers. Warning: this operation will cause extreme instability in the target's energy core. The pursuit aircraft shudders violently. The energy glow on its fuselage visibly dims sharply, as if its blood is being drained. Alarms scream wildly in the cockpit. The next second, boom, the energy core, forcibly overdrawn of all its time, instantly overloads and explodes into a giant fireball in midair. The shockwave shatters the glass of abandoned cars in the alley. The off-road vehicle rocks violently from the blast. The explosion's fire reflects in Lin Mo's cold eyes. He does not look at the firework in the rearview mirror. He steps on the gas, and the off-road vehicle shoots out of the narrow alley, leaving the flames and chaos far behind. Inside the car, Surui holds the warm converter, breathing in short gasps. Her face is pale. She felt part of her own energy also drained by the device. Lin Mo glances at her and tosses her a small bottle of water. It overdraws the target, but it also slightly overdraws the user. Be careful next time. His tone is still flat, but Surui pauses slightly. This is the first time she has felt a trace of almost clumsy care from this cold, machine-like man. She takes a sip of water and gives a soft acknowledgement. Once they are temporarily safe, Lin Mo parks the car in a hidden spot and checks the converter map again. He notices that after consuming the pursuit aircraft, a flashing golden hourglass icon has appeared next to his own dot. A line of small text below reads, Hunter Reputation plus 10. Current reputation level, unknown nobody. Reputation store preview. Redeemable items include low power stealth force field generator blueprint requiring reputation 50 and time bomb requiring reputation 200. The mysterious card player organization is not only forcing them to participate in the hunt, but also tempting and driving them with this gamified reputation system and store rewards. Just then, the converter receives an encrypted message. The source is a flickering gray dot representing neutral. The message contains only one sentence. Want to trade? I know where Dr. Feng Zhen's time gene experiment data is hidden. The price is 100 hours of time vouchers. Having just taken down one pursuer, a greater temptation and a more complex situation have already quietly emerged. Chapter 7. The poisoned apple trade hides a self-destruct trap. Time energy counterkill. Surui's bloodline is the key? The flickering gray dot, and its trade request, looked like a tempting poisoned apple. Lin Mo knew clearly that Feng Zhen's experiment data might be the key to unlocking the secrets of the Order of Order restoration and even understanding the true nature of the time creditor. He had to find a way to get it. But the other party demanded 100 hours of time vouchers up front, almost all of Lin Mo's current savings. The price was set precisely at his psychological limit, which looked very much like a trap. Lin Mo immediately used his time vision to scan the message. Although the feedback was blurry and chaotic, one time stream fragment was very clear. The past that the message pointed to truly existed and was indeed related to Feng Zhen's secret experiments. Reply to him, Lin Mo said to Su Rui. 50 hours 10% prepaid, and pay the remaining after confirming the data is real. He had noticed that Su Rui seemed able to communicate with the converter more naturally. A few seconds after sending the message, the other party replied. Accepted. Coordinates sent. Activating one-time short-range time teleportation to send the first data sample. Do not play tricks. The converter flashed blue, and a small storage chip landed on the console with a faint spark. Lin Mo inserted the chip into a computer to decode it. Several experiment log videos and complex data appeared. They clearly recorded Feng Zhen's forbidden human experiments and the horrific changes in the test subjects under extreme time decay. The data was real and extremely valuable. Pay the remaining balance. Lin Mo ordered decisively. 45 hours of time vouchers were instantly transferred, and the complete data package began transmitting. But at that moment, his time vision suddenly detected something. The time flow inside the gray dot instantly turned violent. No, Lin Mo realized. He is using this high-value transaction as a beacon. He is overdrawing all his own time to self-destruct, blowing us and the data together. Lin Mo saw through the nature of this suicide trap instantly. With almost no time to think, Lin Mo grabbed the converter, forcefully interrupted the transmission, and switched the mode back to the dangerous overdraw mode. But this time, instead of absorbing, he took the 45 hours of time vouchers just paid out, along with the remaining 20 hours in the device, and pushed them back toward the gray dot in an extremely violent raw form. You want to explode? Let me add fuel to the fire. A terrifying torrent of energy equivalent to 65 hours of time instantly injected into the already unstable self-destruct source. There was no earth-shattering explosion, only a crackling sound like space being torn. The gray dot on the map flashed brightly once, then completely disappeared as if erased by an eraser. Even the time in the surrounding small area was briefly distorted. Under the impact of stronger energy, the suicide trap did not even have the qualification to self-destruct. It was directly annihilated from the time level. Lin Mo's face turned slightly pale. The device overload made him uncomfortable. But at least he had kept the core data already received and destroyed the enemy. After calming down, he quickly browsed the data, his frown deepening. Feng Zhen's experiments were cruel and crazy, but some marginal data vaguely pointed in one direction. People with specific gene sequences had natural resistance to time decay. His gaze involuntarily fell on Surui. Surui felt uneasy under his stare. What is wrong? Is there a problem with the data? Big problem, Lin Mo said, turning off the screen, his tone serious. Your blood may be more valuable than this data. From now on, you must never let the Order of Order Restoration get a sample of your blood. Before Surui could absorb this terrible information, the converter map suddenly popped up automatically. The neutral gray icon that originally represented the card player organization had turned into a friendly green. A message of appreciation appeared, a clean and efficient counterkill. Your crude use of time has a unique beauty to it. As a reward for cleaning up a traitor, a new gift has been delivered to your safe house garage. The Time Seeker off-road motorcycle will make your next hunts faster. Final warning. Feng Zhen has raised your threat level to highest. The scavenger team he personally leads is already on the way. They are not as easy to deal with as the Hound. Having just solved one trap, the card player's reward and Feng Zhen's fierce revenge followed one after another. The two had barely caught their breath before being pushed into an even more violent storm. Chapter 8, Time Swamp Trap Kill. Overdraw Force Field Counter. Card player appears, revealing Relic Crisis. The Scavenger Team. In Lin Mo's memories from before rebirth, this name represented the coldest and most merciless elimination force of the Order of Order Restoration. They never chased. They were only responsible for cleaning up. He had to get to the safe house garage immediately, get the Time Seeker off-road motorcycle, and use its mobility to escape the scavenger encirclement. But, as he approached the safe house neighborhood, the entire area was suddenly covered by an invisible time stasis force field. Pedestrians on the street moved as slowly as movie playback. Vehicles stopped in place. Birds hung in the air. Even the flow of time was greatly slowed. Warning: trapped in a time swamp force field. Your own survivable time decay rate reduced by 90%. Movement speed reduced by 90%. The off-road vehicle was like an insect trapped in amber, barely able to move. Outside the window, 4 scavenger team members in pure black uniforms and holographic face masks were approaching from all 4 directions at normal speed, ignoring the force field. They were clearly wearing devices that made them immune to their own force field. Dr. Feng Zhen appeared on the street corner, sitting in a modified command vehicle, his face full of vengeful joy and cruelty. Capture them alive, especially the girl. Her genes are very special. A scavenger raised a launcher. A blue net-like energy body shot toward the off-road vehicle. This was a time capture net that could freeze life activity. At the critical moment, Lin Mo's time vision caught the key. The energy source of the time stasis force field came from the devices on the scavenger's waists. And to maintain this reversed force field, the remaining stable time of these devices was being consumed rapidly. Surui, the converter, Lin Mo shouted. Not at the people. Aim at the force field generators on their waists. Maximum power overdraw. He stomped on the gas pedal. Even if he could only move at a crawl, he needed to give Surui a clear angle. Surui gritted her teeth and did as told, driving the converter with all her might. The black vortex beam appeared again. This time, it did not absorb time. Instead, like a greedy glutton, it frantically overdrew all the future stable time of the force field generators. Forced overdraw. Target force field generator. Remaining stable time. Obtained plus 0.5 standard hours. Time voucher. Conversion efficiency very low. Purpose achieved. 4 soft pops sounded almost simultaneously. The generators on the 4 scavengers' wastes instantly overloaded and broke, emitting black smoke. The time swamp force field covering the neighborhood suddenly disappeared. The world returned to normal speed. The scavengers, accustomed to moving normally within the force field, suddenly became twisted and uncoordinated due to the residual effect of their immunity devices, moving like slow-motion replay. Linmo's off-road vehicle engine erupted with a violent roar at that moment. Hold on. He floored the gas pedal. The off-road vehicle shot forward like a wild horse, knocked aside 2 scavengers who had lost their balance due to the switch in time flow speed, and raced toward the garage. Feng Zhen in the command vehicle was stunned. His perfect capture plan had failed because the other side had drained the device's lifespan. He slammed the control panel in frustration. Chase them! Chase them now! The two burst into the garage and immediately saw the futuristic off-road motorcycle, the Time Seeker. It was matte black with smooth lines and had a connector similar to the converter at the rear. Linmo scanned it with his time vision. Item: Time Seeker off-road motorcycle. Status: standby. Power source: time rust ore core. Remaining stable time 5,000 hours. Special function: short-range time jump, accelerates the user's personal time flow to achieve instant multi-fold speed burst. Long cooldown. Good stuff, Linmo said as he straddled the bike. Surui got on behind him and wrapped her arms around his waist. The motorcycle engine started silently, emitting a low-energy hum. But, just as they were about to race out of the garage, Linmo's dormant card player communicator on his wrist suddenly lit up. A lazy, teasing young male voice came through. Wow, time annihilation, force field overdraw, buddy, your way of playing with time is wild enough. I like it. But that old man Feng Zhen is going crazy with anger. He has applied to mobilize a relic, a semi-living time rust erosion cannon stripped from a time creditor. That thing cannot be solved by draining its lifespan. What it fires is pure aging. Need help? Price is negotiable. Or, do you want to try getting wild again? A stronger weapon, a more mysterious card player member appearing, and an offer that seemed like help but might hide a deeper trap. All laid out before the two. Chapter 9. Stand against the time rust erosion cannon. Overdraw the mount for a counterkill. The Bell Tower organization issues a trial ultimatum. The card player member, who called himself Zero, spoke with a frivolous tone, but the words time rust erosion cannon made Linmo's memories from before rebirth churn violently. That was a forbidden relic that could directly strip away lifetime and create absolute aging. It was the ultimate killing weapon of the Order of Order Restoration. He had to either escape the lock-on range or find a countermeasure before the cannon fired. But at the end of the street, the roof of a heavy armored vehicle opened. A cannon platform assembled from rusted metal and brass gears slowly rose. The decaying light gathering at its muzzle was chilling. The moment it locked on, Linmo's time vision itself began to distort. His survivable time value fluctuated and dropped violently. Even worse, the Time Seeker motorcycle's time jump ability was still on cooldown. He could not escape the strike range. Surui, the plant! Linmo shouted urgently. Surui immediately raised the potted plant in her arms and fully activated its life energy. A soft green glow spread out, forming a fragile life field around the motorcycle. It barely resisted the aging force field and slowed the drop in their survivable time. But the plant was visibly wilting. In those critical few seconds, Linmo did something that stunned everyone. He did not flee. Instead, he drove the motorcycle straight toward Feng Zhen's command vehicle, getting even closer. Crazy. Zero's voice on the communicator carried surprise for the first time. Do you want to die together? Feng Zhen was also terrified, screaming in panic. Do not fire. Wait, he is too close to me. That moment of hesitation was all Linmo needed. His time vision had already locked onto the time rust erosion cannon itself. Item: Time Rust, Erosion Cannon, Semi-Living Relic. Status: Hungry, Unstable. Remaining stable time: 7 seconds. Forced activation charging is greatly consuming its own lifespan. Overdrawable time loan frozen. Error. Target is a derivative of a creditor. Loan refused. The cannon was already unstable and was overdrawing itself to attack. Not at the cannon, Linmo yelled to Surui. Aim at the connection point between the cannon and the armored vehicle. Overdraw its last few seconds of structural stability time. Surui poured all her will into the converter. The device emitted an unprecedented hum, and the black vortex beam surged out. Forced overdraw. Target mounting base remaining stable time. Obtained plus 0.01 standard hours. Time voucher. Crack, bang, a sharp metal breaking sound rang out. In the last instant before the decaying light was about to erupt, the mounting base of the time rust erosion cannon, having all its existence time overdrawn, instantly broke apart as if corroded for 1,000 years. The unsupported cannon platform tilted violently. Boom! The terrifying decaying light beam did not hit Lin Mo. It scraped past the command vehicle and struck the Order of Order Restoration's equipment truck behind it. That vehicle instantly rusted, aged, and collapsed. Along with the members inside, it turned into rotten metal and dust. There was no explosion. Only complete decay. Total silence. Feng Zhen's command vehicle was half scraped away. He sat dazed in the rubble, covered in dust, his soul shaken. The precious time rust erosion cannon crashed heavily to the ground, its body twisted, its light extinguished, completely destroyed. Wow! Zero's voice erupted in wild, excited cheers. You destroyed a relic. Ha ha ha! You actually destroyed a relic. Buddy, I like you so much. Feng Zhen cannot even cry now. I am definitely sending this gift. Lin Mo ignored him. He looked at Surui trembling in his arms from exhaustion and the nearly withered plant in her hands. Next time, say it first, he said in a flat tone. Surui heard something different and smiled weakly. If I said it first, you would not have done it. I would have found a more cost-effective angle. But just as Lin Mo was about to take the chance to escape, the Time Seeker motorcycle's display screen and the converter map were both forcefully hijacked by a new signal source. It was no longer Zero's private channel. An ancient, majestic, emotionless and grand voice seemed to speak directly inside their minds. High-value time paradox operation detected. Abnormal destruction of creditor derivative detected. Candidates Lin Mo and Surui, you have attracted the attention of the bell tower. Trial mission issued. Go to the marked location and retrieve the stopped pocket watch. Success grants preliminary qualification to enter the bell tower. Failure. Your timelines will be considered redundant and will be eliminated. Having just solved a huge crisis, the even more transcendent and horrifying ancient organization called the Bell Tower had noticed them and issued a cold trial ultimatum. Chapter 10. The Bell Tower trial presses down. Time Seeker breaks the wind at high speed. A life-and-death gamble begins. The grand, icy voice of the bell tower, like the lingering echo of a 1,000-year-old bell, reverberated through Lin Mo and Surui's minds. Every word carried an undeniable pressure. Trial mission. Acquire the stopped pocket watch. Location, City Central Bank Underground Vault. Marked. Consequence of failure, timeline elimination. The words timeline elimination were even more chilling than the Order of Order Restoration's time rust erosion cannon. Lin Mo understood clearly the terror of this unknown power. Refusal meant complete erasure, possibly even the disappearance of any trace of existence. There was no room for hesitation. He twisted the throttle of the Time Seeker motorcycle. The engine instantly erupted with a low hum. The matte black body shot forward like an arrow released from a bow, cutting through the deathly silent streets, still recovering from battle, racing toward the city center. Surui held tightly onto Lin Mo's waist, her cheek pressed against his cool back. She could clearly feel the vibration of the motorcycle at high speed. Her face was still pale, the after effect of the exhaustion from resisting the time rust erosion cannon, but her eyes were exceptionally determined, without any sign of retreat. She knew that from the moment the bell tower's voice sounded, their small-scale conflicts with the Order of Order Restoration were completely over. What they were now drawn into was a higher-dimensional, more brutal survival game. One wrong step meant eternal damnation. The night wind howled in their ears. Lin Mo kept his time vision activated, scanning every street and every building along the way. He could see the remnants of the Order of Order Restoration's time flow traces dissipating in the air. And he could also capture faint, malicious, glowing dots, occasionally flashing in the distance. Apparently, the bell tower's trial mission was not only received by them. Other forces hiding in this city had likely also caught wind and were making their moves. Hold on tight, there might be trouble ahead. Lin Mo's voice reached Surui's ear through the wind, with his usual calmness but also a hint of barely noticeable vigilance. He noticed that the closer they got to the city center, the more chaotic the time flow in the air became, as if countless forces were wrestling in secret, turning this area into an invisible vortex. Surui nodded firmly, burying her face deeper, and quietly tightened her grip on the nearly withered potted plant in her arms. Although the plant's life energy was almost gone, the faint touch from her fingertips still gave her some reassurance. She looked at Linmo's profile. The light and shadow of street lamps quickly passed over his face, outlining his tense jawline. She suddenly felt that no matter what dangers lay ahead, as long as she followed this man who could always find a way out of desperate situations, it did not seem so terrifying. The motorcycle turned a corner, and the outline of the city central bank finally appeared in view. It was a building with a strong sense of history, its exterior made of dark gray stone, the clock tower at the top long stopped, standing like a silent giant in the night. But Lin Mo's time vision clearly saw that the entire bank was wrapped in a pale purple force field with strange fluctuations. The underground area where the vault was located emitted a strong energy reaction that distorted time itself. "We are here," Lin Mo said, slowing down and stopping the motorcycle in a hidden alley, his eyes fixed on the bank's entrance. "The situation inside is more complicated than I thought. The bell tower's trial will probably not be easy to pass." Surui let go, stood up straight, and took a deep breath. "No matter how hard it is, we have to get the pocket watch." She looked at Lin Mo, her eyes full of trust. "Whatever you say, I will do." Lin Mo nodded, took the converter from his backpack, and the map on the screen had already marked the exact location of the vault. He quickly slid his finger across the screen, analyzing the surrounding time flow. "I am not sure what traps are inside yet, but it is certain that we are not the only team eyeing this prize. When we go in, stay behind me. If there is any danger, activate the converter's defense mode immediately." "Okay," Surui replied, placing her hand on the converter's operation keys, ready to respond to any emergency at any moment. Lin Mo did a final check of the Time Seeker motorcycle's status, confirming sufficient energy and that the time jump function had finished cooling down before walking toward the bank's entrance. Every step was especially cautious. His time vision scanned the surroundings in all directions, afraid of missing any potential danger signal. When they reached the bank's entrance, Lin Mo suddenly stopped, his eyes fixed. He saw several extremely faint traces of other factions' time flow entangled around the copper lock on the door. Someone had arrived before them. "It seems the game has already begun," Lin Mo said quietly, a cold smile curling at the corner of his mouth. "Then let them see who truly has the qualifications to claim the bell tower's trial reward." Chapter 11. The bank becomes a hunting ground. The disruptors use intelligence to interfere. The plunderers cut through time with blades. As Lin Mo and Su Rui approached the bank's entrance, they felt a strong wave of oppression. The area outside the bank, which was usually bustling with people during the day, was now so deathly quiet that even the sound of wind could be clearly heard. But Lin Mo's time vision, like a radar, captured countless intertwined traces of malicious time flow. Those traces crisscrossed, shrouding the entire bank in a vast, carefully arranged hunting ground. "Something is wrong. The time flow here is too chaotic, as if several factions have already laid their traps in advance," Lin Mo said in a low voice, pulling Surui behind a thick stone pillar, his eyes vigilantly scanning the surrounding shadows. Just as he finished speaking, a frivolous laugh came from the shadows on the left. Then, several figures slowly emerged. The man at the front wore a floral shirt, his hair dyed a flashy purple, playing with a palm-sized metal device in his hand. The device's surface flickered with irregular light. This was Chen Xiao, the leader of the disruptors. "Oh, if it is not the famous observer Lin Mo," Chen Xiao said, stopping not far from the stone pillar, his signature teasing smile on his face, his device spinning faster. "What? Are you also here for the bell tower trial? Unfortunately, the prize this time will probably be mine." The disruptor members behind him also took out similar interference devices. As soon as those devices activated, the surrounding time flow became even more chaotic. Lin Mo could even feel his time vision stutter slightly. Before Lin Mo could respond, heavy footsteps came from the street on the right, accompanied by the harsh sound of metal scraping. Lei Bao led the plunderer team, marching forward in force. He was tall and burly, his shoulders much wider than an average person, carrying a huge chopping knife on his shoulder. The blade was wrapped in an unstable time force field. With every step he took, the ground seemed to tremble slightly. Chen Xiao, stop your nonsense! Lei Bao's voice boomed like a bell, filled with impatience. Lin Mo, if you know what is good for you, hand over the bell tower's secret and the pocket watch. Otherwise, do not blame my blade for not recognizing anyone. He suddenly slammed the chopping knife onto the ground. The blade's time force field instantly erupted, splitting a thin crack in the ground. The bricks and stones around the crack aged and weathered at a visible rate. On one side were the disruptors, who specialized in causing trouble with intelligence and time interference. On the other side were the plunderers, who relied on brute force and time weapons to overpower their opponents. The two groups, one on the left and one on the right, had completely blocked Lin Mo and Su Rui's escape route. Wolves in front, tigers behind, this bell tower trial really knows how to pick its location, Su Rui said, her voice tight, gripping the converter, but her eyes showed no panic. Lin Mo's brain raced, analyzing the situation. Chen Xiao wants the joy of cracking the trial. Lei Bao wants to directly plunder the pocket watch. Although their goals are the same, their methods are different, and they will not join forces for now. We need to use this to find a breakthrough. He was about to speak when the bank's door suddenly clicked softly. Then, a pale purple light film lit up on the exterior wall of the entire building. Complex patterns appeared on the light film, like a huge maze. Lin Mo's time vision immediately scanned it. Warning, time maze force field detected. Conventional paths have been distorted. Unable to enter the vault area. Damn it, even the entrance is locked. Lei Bao roared in anger, raising his chopping knife to strike at the light film. Chen Xiao suddenly stopped him. Do not rush, Lei Bao. This time maze is a test set by the bell tower. Forcing your way in will only get you killed horribly. Look at these patterns. Each one corresponds to a different time frequency. Only by finding the correct frequency can you open the entrance. His eyes sparkled with excitement, clearly very interested in this type of puzzle challenge. Lei Bao impatiently shook off Chen Xiao's hand. I do not care about frequencies. One swing of my blade and any maze will shatter. He raised his chopping knife again, gathering the blade's time force field to its limit, ready to strike at the light film. Lin Mo knew he could not wait any longer. If Lei Bao forced his way in and triggered the trap, they could all be trapped here. He suddenly stepped out from behind the stone pillar, his gaze fixed on Chen Xiao and Lei Bao. Chen Xiao, you want to solve the maze, right? I can help you calculate the time frequencies, but only if you help us block Lei Bao's attacks. And Lei Bao, if you want to force your way in, do not blame us for joining forces with Chen Xiao to make sure you never even touch the bank's door. Chen Xiao raised an eyebrow. Oh, you are willing to help me? That is interesting, but why should I trust you? Because we have a common enemy, Lin Mo said calmly. Once Lei Bao succeeds, do you think he will give you a chance to solve the maze? Only by blocking him first do we have a chance to get the pocket watch. Lei Bao's face turned purple with anger. You dare join forces against me? Then do not blame me for cutting you all down. He charged forward. Chen Xiao immediately ordered his disruptor members, activate the interference devices. Stop him. Several members quickly acted. The light from the interference devices instantly formed a barrier, temporarily blocking Lei Bao's path. Lin Mo, I have blocked him for you. What about your frequency calculation? Chen Xiao looked at Lin Mo, a hint of suspicion in his eyes. Lin Mo did not waste words. He immediately activated the converter, entering the maze patterns and time flow data captured by his time vision, and began rapid calculations. The data stream on the screen scrolled rapidly. Su Rui also helped, using her sensitivity to time energy to assist Lin Mo in adjusting parameters. Lei Bao frantically attacked behind the interference barrier. The barrier's light grew dimmer and dimmer, about to be broken through. Chen Xiao's face also became tense. Lin Mo, hurry up. The barrier will not last much longer. Beads of sweat appeared on Lin Mo's forehead. His fingers struck the operation keys rapidly. Almost there. Hold on for 10 more seconds. Just as the barrier was about to shatter, a line of data popped up on the converter screen. Time frequency calculation complete. Maze entrance pattern matched. Lin Mo immediately sent the data to Chen Xiao. Input the data and open the entrance. Chen Xiao did not dare delay. He quickly entered the data into his device and pressed the confirmation button, aiming at the light film on the bank's door. The patterns on the light film instantly began to flow, rearranging according to the calculated frequency. A few seconds later, the light film split open a gap, revealing the inside of the bank. "Success!" Chen Xiao shouted excitedly. But before they could celebrate, Lei Bao suddenly broke through the nearly shattered interference barrier and charged toward the entrance. "The entrance is open. The pocket watch is mine." Chapter 12. The pocket watch hides a cycle trap. Lin Mo breaks the deadlock and invites an alliance. The disruptors join the game. Lei Bao and his plunderer team charged toward the entrance. The huge chopping knife swung in his hand, wrapped in a violent time force field, as if it would shatter everything in its path. Chen Xiao's disruptor members tried to block him, but were forced back by the wind from Lei Bao's blade. Just as Lei Bao was about to rush into the bank, Lin Mo suddenly shouted, "Do not go in! There is something wrong with the pocket watch." Everyone paused. Lei Bao turned back and glared at Lin Mo. "Stop talking nonsense. Do you think you can fool me? No way." He turned to continue his charge. Lin Mo ignored Lei Bao's roar. He adjusted his time vision to maximum focus, locking onto the direction of the vault inside the bank. Through the complex building structure, he clearly saw a pocket watch emitting strange fluctuations sitting in a safe in the center of the vault. That was the stopped pocket watch. But what shocked him was that the time flow around the pocket watch was not completely still as the name suggested. Instead, it was cycling through infinite tiny moments at an extremely fast speed. With each cycle, it emitted a faint energy wave that could trap a living being's consciousness within it. "I am not talking nonsense." Lin Mo's voice was urgent. "The time flow around the stopped pocket watch is in infinite cycles. If you touch it directly, you will be trapped in the cycle forever, unable to escape. This is not a simple trial reward. It is a trap set by the bell tower, a test of whether we can see through the illusion." Su Rui also leaned close to Lin Mo, observing the pocket watch through his time vision. Her face turned pale instantly. "You are right. I can feel it. The energy wave inside the cycle is very strange. If we fall into it, we may never get out." Chen Xiao had also been about to follow Lei Bao inside, but stopped when he heard Lin Mo and Su Rui's words. Although he enjoyed solving puzzles, he was not stupid. He knew Lin Mo and Su Rui had no reason to lie to him at this moment. He carefully observed the time flow inside the bank and indeed found something unusual. There was a clear gap between the time flow at the entrance and the time flow toward the vault, as if they had been artificially separated. "What you said is true? The time flow around the pocket watch is cycling?" Chen Xiao looked at Lin Mo. A hint of suspicion and a hint of barely noticeable excitement in his eyes. The more complex the trap, the more it appealed to him. Lin Mo nodded and projected the cycling image captured by his time vision through the converter, showing it to everyone. "Look, this is the dynamic time flow around the pocket watch. Every 0.1 seconds, it completes one cycle, and the content of each cycle is exactly the same, without any change. This infinite cycle of tiny moments is the most deadly trap. Once you step into it, your consciousness will be fixed in that 0.1 seconds, forever repeating the same action, until your body's time is completely exhausted." Lei Bao looked at the projected image. His arrogance faded a bit, but he was still reluctant. Even if there is a cycle trap, there must be a way to break it, right? Are we just supposed to watch the pocket watch sit in there and give up on the trial? Lin Mo shook his head. There must be a way to break it. Since the bell tower set the trap, they must have left clues to solve it. I observed earlier that although this cycling time flow seems perfect, in the gap between each cycle there is a very faint leakage of time energy at a different frequency. I suspect the key to breaking the trap is to find the frequency that matches the leaking energy, then use synchronization to merge into the cycle and find a breakthrough from within. When Chen Xiao heard the word synchronization frequency, his eyes lit up instantly. "Synchronization? Do you mean we need to find a time frequency that matches the cycle gap, then synchronize our own time flow with the cycle, so we can avoid being trapped?" "Exactly," Lin Mo nodded. "But calculating this frequency is extremely difficult and requires very precise control. Su Rui and I alone cannot do it in a short time." "Chen Xiao, you have always wanted to break the bell tower's trial, right? This is the puzzle you have been looking for. I can give you some of the frequency data I have calculated so far. You and your disruptor team can help calculate. Let us join forces to break this cycle trap. Are you willing to take that gamble?" Chen Xiao stared into Lin Mo's eyes for a few seconds, then suddenly burst into laughter. Haha, interesting, very interesting. The bell tower's trial did not disappoint me. Even breaking it requires cooperation. Fine, I will take that gamble. Let us see what secrets lie behind this cycle trap. The disruptor members behind him hesitated and looked at Chen Xiao. Boss, are we really going to team up with Lin Mo? They are observers. We are not on the same side. Chen Xiao waved his hand. Now is not the time to talk about sides. Getting through the bell tower's trial is what matters most. Besides, teaming up with a strong opponent like Lin Mo to break such a complex trap is much more fun. He looked at Lin Mo. Send me your data. My people are very good at frequency calculation. Lin Mo did not hesitate and immediately sent some of the frequency data to Chen Xiao through the converter. Chen Xiao took the data and quickly distributed it to several core members behind him, then began directing them to calculate. The disruptor team indeed excelled in intelligence and technology. After receiving the data, they quickly got into the zone. The converter and their interference devices connected to form a temporary calculation network. The data stream on the screen scrolled rapidly. Su Rui walked over to Lin Mo and whispered, "Do you really trust Chen Xiao? He is the leader of the disruptors. Going back on their word is their specialty." Lin Mo's eyes were firm. "We have no other choice now. The two of us alone cannot break the trap under the threat of Lei Bao and other potential forces. Chen Xiao may not be trustworthy, but his desire to solve puzzles exceeds everything else. Before the trap is broken, he will not easily betray us. Besides, I have already left a back door in data. If he makes any move, we can immediately interrupt the calculation and make all his efforts useless." Su Rui nodded and said nothing more, instead focusing on observing the operation of the calculation network, using her sensitivity to time energy to remind Lin Mo to adjust parameters in time. Lei Bao watched Lin Mo and Chen Xiao join forces to break the trap, his face growing darker and darker. Although he was reckless, he knew nothing about frequency calculation and could not break the trap on his own. But he could not bear to give up the pocket watch. No, they cannot get the pocket watch. Lei Bao gritted his teeth and ordered his plunderer members, "Go interfere with their calculations. Even if we cannot get the pocket watch, we will not let them succeed." Several plunderer members immediately charged toward Chen Xiao's calculation network, swinging their weapons, trying to damage the equipment. But Lei Bao had forgotten that the disruptors specialized in interference. The moment the plunderer members got close, several disruptor members activated portable interference devices, creating a chaotic time flow field around them, slowing their movements significantly. Chen Xiao did not even look up. His attention was fully focused on the calculation. Lin Mo's data was highly accurate. Combined with the disruptor's algorithms, the progress was advancing very quickly. At this rate, we will have the complete synchronization frequency in about 10 minutes, Chen Xiao said excitedly, his fingers striking the keys non-stop. "Lin Mo, your data is really impressive. If you had not provided the core parameters, we would have been stuck for at least half an hour." Lin Mo did not respond. He kept his eyes on the calculation network while also monitoring the movements of Lei Bao and the other potential threats around them. He knew that the closer they got to success, the more dangerous it became. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind.